I mean, I had been into photography for a few years already. I had learned a lot through forums and yeah, mostly forums online reading. As I'm bilingual, as you know, it was easy to read in English and learn, and Spanish wasn't really much of a thing on internet at that point. So when I learned to the point that I was like, okay, it's cool. I basically lost my job. And I was like, okay, I think I wanted, and I was asked by my father, who you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is this photography thing you like gonna make any money ever? And I was like, I never really thought about it like that. It was a hobby and a passion, and that's it. So I had been planning on making a YouTube channel just because I was seeing a lot of content being made and a lot of it being, in my eyes, not precise, if you want to say,
Mhm.
or on topic. It was more like, lifestyle stuff of like, I wake up in the morning, this is what I had. Oh, and this is the camera I got. So it wasn't so much like educational or what I like to call library content.
Mhm.
So I decided to start, but I hadn't really put two and two together. And I was like, yeah, you just grab a camera and you start recording and it's going to look amazing. And because photography is fairly easy to get good results. But video is a different world. It's very different. So I basically lost my job on a Monday, and I basically started on that Monday afternoon. So I started like that. It was more to share cameras I owned that was going to be selling because I needed the cash, but then I never lost my job. So it stayed as a side hustle
Yeah.
for forever. Basically, it's turned to a full-time hustle in a way in the last maybe year, if you want to say.
Mhm.
So it's not that I was like, oh, I need to teach or I should share. It was more like, nah, I could share. And I feel like everything online at that time, at least, was very vague and very mixed into other stuff that wasn't necessarily what people were trying to learn. And I was like, I could teach more precisely and, straight to the point. And I've always loved the idea that I go to a wedding and I don't know how to tie my tie. And it's like, you go on YouTube, you watch the 5-minute tutorial and you're, not an expert, but you can do it. And you
Yeah.
go to a wedding. So that was my goal. And it's also a mix of that and the evergreen content, which I like the idea of things that can help not one person, but a generation, or, what, as long as it's relevant or quality is not a potato can, which is basically nowadays full HD is plenty. So that should be enough for like another 10 years, if not more. No, not really. Of course, there's nuances to things that you only can see in person. I
Yeah.
can teach you all you want about the cameras, but until you don't grab a camera and you load it and you feel it and you touch the film or you touch the buttons and whatever, it's going to be different. I don't think there's a limitation to what you can teach. I think there's a limitation to what you can learn. And there's always going to be that user experience. Theoretically, yes, you can learn it all, but till you don't do it yourself, it's very different. Just like you said, you were learning metal work, like welding. I can tell you, oh yeah, this is how I do it, but like that experience of holding the whole thing and going straight, you're going to be like, it sticks to the thing. You're like fucking stuck half the time. So like, I don't think there's a limitation on what you can teach. I think there's a limitation of like, you're going to end up having to do something to learn, even though you learned it one way or another. Like, the theory, now you need to practice. It's like driving. You learn the theory, then you do the practice.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything you can't teach, at least in my realm. It just, you got to be smart on how you want to focus it. So the tools are different. If I was in a dark room telling you how to load a film roll, like I'm going to have, hey, Nick, hold my hands. I'm going to do it. You're going to feel my hands moving. Now you can do it. If you're going to do it on YouTube, which I've done it, I will say like, hey guys, this is basically supposed to be done in the darkness, but of course I can't film in the darkness. So I'm going to do it with the lights and I want to show you as much as I can. And it ends up being a matter of vocabulary and visuals. So if you have multiple angles, B-rolls, top that, like, camera that's on the top. So it just changes the way you teach. Like, it to me, it kind of like, it sucks that YouTube is a place where you're basically one-way conversation. So like you basically record looking at a black camera, and then you edit, you post it, and that's it. And yes, you can answer comments and people can ask questions in the comments and you can like evolve and shit. But like it is more like I feel like I'm sharing, but at the end, because there's no two ways, it's more like you're teaching. Like I feel traditionally, at least, the teaching is like you teach and everybody learns and you leave. But like as a teacher, you learn way more by what the students tell you back than by just talking to an empty room and then being like, yeah, they're going to learn this and then come back in a week and tell me how the results are. No, it's better when you have interaction. So online and like teaching is more a one-way conversation, and physical teaching is way more of a two-way,
Okay.
So I would say because of that, like the non-physicality or whatever of online teaching, it's teaching whatever you want to do. There's never a conversation. There's a conversation on a Skype call. Yeah, fine. Or Zoom call. That is what you guys use nowadays. Like I used Zoom, Skype when I was younger.
Yeah.
But like that's basically, it can't be non-teaching if there's no responses from people. As it's a free platform, there's no moderation. Everything can be there. So I could tell you, hey, grab the saw and put your arm first and then go over, and someone that's dumb enough somewhere in the world will do it and cut their arm off. And this happens with film photography all the time. That's my realm of videos, but like the misinformation that goes out there is amazing. And there's even worse, is that because it's a monetized platform, it incentivizes you to sometimes just do for doing. So I watch a lot of film YouTube and the big guys and the small guys and all these, and it's like a lot of the big guys, just because they have to make a video every week, they'll talk about whatever bullshit they've never heard of. And you're like, you're talking out of your ears. You have no idea what you're saying. And there's 100,000 people or 300,000 people listening to you like, oh, Nick, he's the cool guy. I'm going to go ahead and do what he said. Yeah. And then you're like, I raise my hand and I'm like, yeah, I'm the old fart that's balding in Spain, well, now in Finland. And I say that that's wrong. And they're like, no, you don't know anything. This guy said it. And you're like, but that guy has no backup on why he knows this, or is it right or wrong. And like, I've done this like for 10 years. Yeah, but he's cool. You're not. And like, that's happened to me so many times. So I ignore. I don't watch any other film YouTube anymore, because I basically burned out of being like, the amount of misinformation that goes around is crazy. And now that I work for a camera store and I work for some people that make scanning equipment and so on, like half the time we're like, how can we make more noise so the right way goes to the right people?
Yeah.
But it's impossible. You're fighting like, and maybe the guy that has the woodworking shop like in France has had 5 people come with different beams that were YouTube's said that they were great. And, they turned out to break down the next day because they didn't know the principles, because the guy learned the day before. And this is the thing. I think Homer does this in a video in The Simpsons at some point. Is like, all you need to know is like, or Futurama, I think it's Futurama. It's like, all you have to be is one lesson ahead of the students,
Yeah.
So it's like, as there's no moderation in any way, and yes, people in the comments can say, oh, this guy doesn't know jack shit or whatever, you can read them. But like most people, like you said, watch the video, get the information as fast as possible, go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous to me in that way. So that's one of the things I try to do, is if I want to talk about something, at least know what you're talking about, sit down, read for a little bit more than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, that's what I try to always say, is like, okay, I'm not an expert on this. This is what I would recommend. Please like go in the comments and like fulfill. And I have professional photographers that follow, like retired photographers that follow, and they'll be like, oh, I had a studio for 30 years. This is how we did it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's way more interesting. But that stuff is not on the video. So it's hard for people to get that. So that's why I'm saying like, it's a one-way conversation for the good reasons and for bad reasons.
Yeah, of course.
And it's hard to manage how, and everything is valid, because if it uploads, it's valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, it works in numbers. Like out of 100 people, there's always going to be X amount of people that are rude, X amount of people that are nice, X amount of people that are don't care, neutral. I've had a lot of luck in the sense that I think I'm so boring in a way on the video side of things that I tailor to people that really enjoy it. And at the end of the day, like your subscriber feed and so on, it's like a concert. You're like playing up your music to your audience. So because of that, I don't get a lot of trolls. I have converted trolls to actually paid subscribers before, just by being like I've moderated forums online for more than 10 years, 15 years. And you learn that the only way you can do it is kill them with kindness. Just kind of like whenever they say you're doing this wrong, you're like, I'm so sorry, thank you. Like, I would love if you could make a video and show me, you know? Yeah. And that always throws them off because I can say like, oh, your paintings are horrible. I'll be like, oh, so paint it for me, you know? You do it. Let me see. I would love to learn. I'm learning all the time. So like I've tailored that way so people know that it's not a place where I'm gonna bite. I'm not gonna, bite their anger and answer with anger. I take screenshots of people giving me horrible comments every now and then, but it's gone down tremendously. And I think people just got bored of it. We're like, oh, there's nothing to pick here. Like I try to know what I'm talking about, so it's not so easy to pick, because usually the people that pick are mostly just, being like they don't see things like you see them. But if you talk about like, this is my opinion, this is why I think this way, and you can think differently, and I would love to listen to it. And people then go from, instead of being like, you're wrong, it's more like, oh, well, I don't agree with you, and this is why. So I don't have like haters or trolls in my comments. Okay. And if there ever is someone that steps out of the line a little bit or gives a stronger opinion, I try to kill them with kindness. And a lot of the people that follow along will see it before I see it. And they will even sometimes go ahead and answer in a nicer way. Like, no, Nico doesn't bite into this, or his opinion is, refuted by this or that. Like I've done a lot of the opinion videos lately, and they're about the industry. And because I do the news, the industry talks to me. So I'm like one of the probably, I don't know if you can say 10, 15. Actually, if you're not in the industry, I'm probably one of the only people that is not in the industry that the industry talks to. Yeah. So kind of like the bridge between the industry and the community. So like if I have like, Kodak. Yep. I have Kodak's WhatsApp number. So like I can literally go on WhatsApp and say, hey, is this true? And they'll say, yep or no. And can I reference it? Yeah, you can reference it. Or is this like, is it secret? Yeah, it's secret. Don't say anything. Same with Ilford. Same with Ferrania. Same with any brand that pretty much in the film industry. So that's created the thing that people know that that's there. So they're like, other YouTubers reference me as the, if you want to know about the industry and you'll know what's really happening, ask Nico. Mm-hmm. And I've always been open. Like if I can talk about it, I'll talk about it. If they tell me keep it quiet, I'll keep it quiet. I see shit that like I see people making videos about things that I know are wrong, but I can't say because I've been told not to say anything. So I just have to keep my mouth shut. Okay. But yeah, like that stuff, in that sense, the community has been great. Like I've had support in economical ways. I've had support in friendships ways, like made great friends. Like I've come to the point where it's silly to say, but it's like anywhere I go in the world, I can basically like be, hey, I'm in someone wants a beer, and within an hour someone's there for a beer. So like that's to me what's really fun and cool. Like yes, money is nice and pays the bills and pays the food, but like I like the idea of thinking that there actually are people behind the numbers and they talk to me, and I've always talked to pretty much everybody that answers and writes me emails and stuff. So I like that part. I think of it as a big family more than just like, yeah, I want more subs, or I've never asked people to subscribe. Mm-hmm. Never. I'm like, if you fucking like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, just walk away. It's fine. I don't care. I don't need the numbers. I don't need that. Like, it's not something I'm eager about because I take it as a hobby, but it's grown to a point where it can pay, but I'm not going to change the way I think because of the money. I think when filming yourself, I would say done, like, I don't know I don't know what the expression is, but like done is better than perfect. So like one thing I've learned, and I like, if you watch the opinion videos, I think the last two, the one about Kodak and whatnot, it's a 13-minute video that I have no cuts.
Okay.
There's not one single cut at all. So I've learned to like roll with it. Like if I'm talking to you and I can't find the freaking word, I'll go around the word till you understand what I'm trying to say. In video at the beginning, I was like not fluent on how I wanted to express myself. So I would be like, hey guys, welcome to cut, da-da-da, cut, da-da-da, cut. And it's like, it makes it so hard. Humans make mistakes. So like, just if you're talking about something and you can't come up with a word, like just try to explain it and then continue. Kind of like the keep on rolling. I kind of think of it like if you were on a stage talking to, I don't know, your classroom or your university or a group of colleagues or work. And if you make a small mistake, you just continue. You don't go like, oh, wait, guys, stop. Let's start again, you know? So like that will make it so much easier. And then when you edit, you just kind of go like, yeah, I made a mistake, but I continue, you know? It's kind of like, it just makes it so much easier than like cutting. Where was I starting? Like that's the biggest mistake I see when people start a YouTube channel, is like cut all the time because they make a small mistake. Like just keep on going. Then I would say like try to be on point with what you say, have a structure. Like I basically spend my day organizing my thoughts on what I want to say about a topic. So, you know, think about it. If scripts help you, do a script somehow, bullet points, stuff like that. And editing wise, it's just a muscle memory. Like you just get better and better every day. Okay. 2 videos a week is hardcore for a new person. But yeah, don't overdo it. Like I think there's a lot to learn from people that do videos that have a narrative that kind of like just continually goes. So like try to have like a beginning, middle, and end to a video, and then just do another one. There's a few people that I think do really good stuff like that. Like, of course, the Casey Neistat movement of vlogging and how he did it was really, really good. There's a girl that I watch because I find fascinating that has nothing to do with anything that I like, which is called Emma Chamberlain. She's like I think she was like a makeup YouTuber. And she's just turned into like personality big enough that her videos are about nothing, but they're just entertaining. She does a really good job at doing videos. And like you watch her if you can. I'll send you the name. She just talks to camera like if there was like it was a friend. Like, you know, like if someone else was in the room, like that helps a lot. Like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna explain this to my, you know, metal ignorant friend. And like how I learned, and also being humble helps a lot. Like it just makes you be less stressed. Be like, hey guys, like I have no clue what I'm doing, but I've read about this. So I'm going to try to show you how I've learned it and what I've learned throughout. Okay. So like that helps if you're going to be doing that. And yeah, just do it a lot.